Good day to you po, sir. My name is Mark Sidinho from Tensinulog, and today I'll be making no-bake cookies using two simple methods with our chosen tools and ingredients. So before we start, these are the tools needed. So first, this is our strainer and our mixing bowl. This is our pan with wax paper already, and this is our pan used for our steaming method. This is the frying pan used for our pan method. So next is our measuring spoons, and this is our measuring cups, as you can see. And then next, this is our this is our spatulas, and this is the small cups used for our wet ingredients. And this is our bowl used for our dry ingredients. Next, this is our scissors used for cutting flour and sugar. This is our wax paper needed for our pan. So now we'll be going to the ingredients. For our ingredients, we have 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 1/4 cup of flour, then 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1.5 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 chocolate pieces of, and we have 1 piece of egg. Now, before we start our baking process, we should have hairnet, gloves, apron, and a clean and tidy table. This process is called mise en place. It's a French term for everything in place. Mise en place is a very important step because it makes the baking process faster, safer, and cleaner. We'll have all our ingredients already ready before we already start. So now, let's go to our baking process. So for our baking process, we will start with 1/2 cup of butter.
So our butter adds richness and flavor to the cookies. You should also cream the butter properly to give the cookies a nice light consistency.
Now, we will go with 1/2 cup of brown sugar.
Our brown sugar adds sweetness and moisture, giving the cookies a chewy texture.
Next, we will go with 1/2 cup of sugar.
Our white sugar helps sweeten the cookies and give them a slightly crisp texture.
So now we will go with our 1 piece of egg.
So the egg helps binds all the ingredients together, giving a structure to the cookies and keep them soft.
Our 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
So the vanilla enhances the overall flavor and the aroma of the cookies, making the cookies taste more delicious. So the flour serves as the main structure or base of the cookies, helping them hold the ingredients together and give the cookies their shape.
Next, we will go with our 1/2 teaspoon of
So the salt balances the sweetness and improves the overall flavor, helping bring out the taste of the other ingredients.
Lastly, we will have our 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda.
So the baking soda helps the cookies become light and slightly fluffy. The strainer helps sift the dry ingredients so they mix evenly and stay smooth.
And lastly, we will have our chocolates.
For our chocolate bits, it adds a sweet, rich, and melty flavor, making the bite enjoyable and adds texture.
Next will be our covering with plastic.
We need to first chill the dough so it can be firm and easier to shape and handle.
Now after it's done placing the plastic, we will now put it in the freezer for 30 minutes to 1 hour. So now that our dough is ready, let's first start with the steaming method. So we will use our scooper. Now we will put it into balls. Now that it's in a bowl, we will put it the triangle way. We'll only use 3. Okay. Now while we wait for our dough to finish, we'll go with our pan method. So first, we'll do the same step.
Note to be taken, we should separate our cookies during our steaming method and pan method so they may mix evenly and don't clump, and so the sugar, butter, and milk can melt and blend together properly. Now that we are done putting the dough in the pan, we will now go use our spatula. So we need to use our spatula to flatten the cookies so it will ensure the cookies of a thickness, heat distribution, and a nice appealing appearance.
Now we'll go with our baking process.
Note to be taken, we should place another pan over our pan method to use indirect heat, which prevents the mixture from burning. This helps the ingredients melt evenly and keeps the cookies smooth and well mixed.
And now we will do the oven method. So we will do 6 balls.
And lastly, for our last note, we should always place wax paper on the pans to prevent the cookies from sticking. It also makes it easier to remove the cookies after cooling without breaking or crumbling them. So now that our cookies are done, we should first let them cool down so they may harden and hold their shape. Cooling helps the flavors settle and develop properly.
So now after the cooling method, we will now taste test our product. So for our taste test, I will do the pan method. Very soft but crunchy, very delicious. Now for our reflection.
So in this reflection, I learned a lot of skills and techniques from this performance task. I learned how important it is to follow each step carefully with the proper use of techniques to get the best result. One challenging part for me was mixing the dough evenly and making sure the texture was just right. And lastly, preparation hygiene are important factors in baking because they keep the food safe, clean, and organized, which can help produce cookies that are both delicious and presentable. So that is all. Thank you for listening throughout my whole video, and God bless.